Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh IAS and we are going to continue our Satish Chandra series. So we have done the first chapter in detail. I think in 3 parts we did it. Okay, Akbar, sorry, not Akbar, Babur, Humayun and Sher Shah. Okay, so the timeline is now around 1555 and so this textbook is also designed in such a way that it takes like in a chronological way. Okay, so it will be easy if you watch it in order. Okay, don't watch it in random. And so this chapter is about Akbar and it's a lengthy chapter actually. So 20-25 pages are there, and so I will be doing it again in 3 or 4 parts, and we'll try to categorize it into different proper sections instead of stopping it in midway or something. We'll under different subheadings we'll categorize. So initially it will be like the beginning, okay, like Akbar getting into the throne, okay, at the age of 13. You can see the image here. I took this from the movie, okay, Jodha Akbar movie. I took it from there. So that movie, even though it is like revolving around the love story of Jodha and Akbar and all, the first 1 hour, if you see, the script is actually directly like line by line what is mentioned in this textbook. Okay, any history textbook of this particular Akbar's assistant to throne, you will find the same thing. Okay, so this person here is the Bairam Khan. Okay, who, because he is young, 13 years old, he is the one who is in charge of everything, and he is like making him the king. And then this is actually the scene of the Panipat war. Okay, second Panipat war. That is in 1556, immediately after Humayun's death. So that scene this is, and then after then he will be like growing, and then around when he is the age of maturity, that time he starts then questioning the policies of Bairam Khan, because he will be, you can see here. So he is actually like if a war is over and if the other opposite side will be like a defeat or something, he will be like killing them. Okay, he is not like considering them as like what to say, a refuge or a prisoner of war or nothing. He will be like directly executing it. So it was like very harsh policies which Bairam Khan followed. So Akbar was not like that. You will learn a lot about him. In history optional especially, Akbar is a separate chapter itself. Okay, history optional student should know in and out about this person. Okay, Akbar, personality of Akbar. Okay, before that I'll tell you one thing. The name Akbar, okay, this Akbar is not his actual name. His actual name is something like Jalaluddin Muhammad or something. Okay, and Akbar is something which he gets after when he is around 25-30 years old. That time people call him Akbar. Okay, Akbar means great. So if you see like in the Islam thing, it is there, right, that Allahu Akbar, that is like God is great. So it means greatness. Okay, Akbar in simple term, if you want to understand, it is great. So that is how his name is there, and that is how he is popularly known, Akbar the Great. Okay, so that is about a rough overview. Now we'll see the chapter and we'll just discuss about this accession to throne and his initial policies. Okay, maybe 1556 to 1570s or something, when he is just maturing. At that time, what was happening? What were the Mughal expansion policies? Okay, so we'll see it from the actual PDF itself as usual. So this is the chapter, Consolidation of the Mughal Empire, Age of Akbar. Okay, so we'll see this. When Humayun was retreating from Bikaner, he was gallantly offered shelter and help by the Rana of Amarkot. Okay, so you know, like Sher Shah defeated Humayun in the Battle of Chausa and Battle of Kanauz in 1539 and 1540, and that time he had to flee from there. Okay, so that time when he was going in the Rajput area, the Rana area, okay, Rana of Amarkot, he actually took shelter there, and that is where Akbar actually was born. Okay, so Akbar was not born in Delhi or Agra, he was born in the western part of India. Okay, Amarkot in 1542. Okay, and when Humayun fled to Iran, young Akbar was captured by his uncle Kamran. Okay, this Kamran and all we discussed in the last chapter. Okay, in my previous video he is there, this character is there. So same way he actually captured Akbar and he treated the child well. Akbar was reunited with his parents after the capture of Kandahar. So you know, Humayun will come back, right, 1545, after Sher Shah, after Islam Shah, and after the weak rulers of Sur dynasty, he will come back. So that time, after he captured Kandahar and all, Humayun will be reunited with his son. Okay, so that time he has a foster mother and all, that we'll see, that and all will come, and in the movie it is shown. So if you see that movie, at least the beginning of that movie, 1 hour, whatever I am telling in this chapter will be like visually registered in your mind. Okay, that is how movies are always important for history. For modern history also, at least 20 movie names I think I showed you, okay, with the pictures and all. So here, because we are doing PDF and it's not a PPT, I am not able to show much pictures. Okay, so still try to watch that movie. So again here Akbar was at Kalanaur in the Punjab. Okay, Punjab one place, and commanding operations against the Afghan rebels there. He was crowned at Kalanaur in 1556. That is the first image which I showed you, that 13-year-old kid. Okay, at the young age of 13 years. Okay, then Akbar succeeded to a difficult position. The Afghans were still strong beyond Agra and were regrouping their forces under the leadership of Hemu for a final showdown. Okay, this Hemu is the opposite person actually in the Panipat war, second Panipat war. The first Panipat war was actually long back, okay, 1526, when Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi and established the Mughal Empire. But this is 1556, again in the same place Panipat. Okay, that's actually a history optional question, like why all the wars were happening in Panipat. Okay, so UPSC has this habit of asking very strange questions. Last year I think they asked like, what if Gandhiji is not there? There is no person like Gandhiji. Then how will be the freedom struggle of India? So UPSC is asking questions which you cannot find in books. Okay, you have to imagine a situation, and then with the knowledge you have about the other things, you have to make up an answer. Okay, and obviously everybody's answer will differ also. So that is what UPSC is trying to do throughout the year. So how much you prepare, UPSC is going to play that trick. Okay, so be prepared for that. So here, Hemu for final showdown. Now Kabul had been attacked and besieged. Sikandar Sur, the defeated Afghan ruler, was loitering in the Shivalik Hills. You know geography, when you learn, you will know Shivalik Hills, the innermost Himalayas kind of thing. Okay. So, however, Bairam Khan, the tutor of the prince and a loyal and favorite officer of Humayun, rose to the occasion. He became the Vakil of the kingdom with the title of Khani Khanan. Okay, so this also is important. In the movie also you can see he will be calling him as Khan Baba. Okay, so Khani Khanan was the title which he took up, and he is like kind of a godfather, or who is actually leading the kingdom in the time when the king is actually young. Okay, the threat from the side of Hemu was considered the most serious. The area from Chunar to the border of Bengal was under the domination of Adil Shah, a nephew of Sher Shah. Okay, so even though Sher Shah was defeated and all the kingdom was over, still there were people there. Okay, nephew was there. Hemu, who had started life as a superintendent of the markets under Islam Shah. Islam Shah is actually son of Sher Shah. Okay, so under him there was a person called Hemu, and he is the one who is now coming for the second Panipat war. Had rapidly risen under Adil Shah. He had not lost a single one of the 22 battles in which he had fought. Okay, so that is what about Hemu they are telling. Adil Shah had appointed him as the Wazir with the title of Vikramjit. So now these kind of things is what UPSC used to pick up. At least 5 years back, prelims, they used to ask these kind of weird things. Okay, it's like Hemu is not like a very famous personality for us. Okay, in Indian context, but still UPSC used to ask it, so you have to know. Okay, so his he was appointed as a Wazir under Adil Shah, and his title was Vikramjit, and the title of the other person, the Bairam Khan, was Khani Khanan. Okay, and entrusted him with the task of expelling the Mughals. Hemu captured Agra, and with an army of 50,000 cavalry, 500 elephants, and a strong pack of artillery marched upon Delhi. Okay, this is actually shown in the movie. Okay, actually, huge army is what Hemu comes with a lot of elephants and all, and so Mughals were actually worried. Okay, of how to defeat him. In a well-contested battle, Hemu defeated the Mughals near Delhi and occupied the city. However, Bairam Khan took energetic steps to meet the situation. His bold stand put new heart into his army, and it marched on Delhi before Hemu could have time to consolidate his position. So, because of Bairam Khan's strategies, they were actually able to fight back. The battle between the Mughals and the Afghan forces led by Hemu took place once again at Panipat, 5th November 1556. Okay. Although Hemu's artillery had been captured earlier by a Mughal detachment, the tide of battle was in favor of Hemu when an arrow hit him in the eye and he fainted. Okay, so this is actually exact same thing is shown in the movie. Okay, one of the soldier will be like hitting with an arrow on his eye, and he will fall down, and he was taken to Akbar. Okay, Akbar, the 13-year-old kid, but the kid will tell like he is already defeated, I cannot kill him, but Bairam Khan will kill him. Okay, so that is how from young age Akbar is seeing the atrocities of Bairam Khan. Even though they won the war, he wants to kill also. He wants to kill the opposite ruler also. Okay, so this scene you can see in the movie. Okay, the leaderless Afghan army was defeated. Hemu was captured and executed. Okay, so that scene, execution scene, you can see. Thus Akbar had virtually to reconquer his empire. Okay, so even though Akbar is not fighting the war or something, he is the ruler, right? So in his name this victory will come. Okay, so that was the beginning. Okay, first war you can tell. Now early phase of 1556 to 67. Bairam Khan remained at the helm of the affairs of the empire for almost 4 years. Okay, during the period he kept the nobility fully under control. The danger to Kabul was averted, and the territories of the empire was extended from Kabul up to Jaunpur in the east. Okay, Jaunpur, you know, Sher Shah's place. Okay, in the east near Bihar, and Ajmer in the west. So it had a huge extent, and Bairam Khan was in charge. Gwalior was captured, and vigorous efforts were made to conquer Ranthambore and Malwa in the western side. Meanwhile, Akbar was approaching the age of maturity. Bairam Khan had offended many powerful persons while he held supreme power. They complained that Bairam Khan was a Shia and that he was appointing his own supporters and Shias to high offices, like neglecting the old nobles. So here this also was one complaint against Bairam Khan. Okay, his atrocities is there, already there, which I told you, but he is also using his religion also. He is a Shia member, and so he is appointing Shias into his office or any powerful post and all. Okay, these charges were not very serious in themselves, but Bairam Khan had become arrogant and failed to release realized that Akbar was growing up. There was friction on small points which made Akbar realize that he could not leave the affairs of the state in someone else's hand for any length of time. So Akbar, now when he's growing up, he understood like he cannot allow this to continue. Okay, Akbar played his cards deftly. He left Agra on the pretext of hunting and reached Delhi. From Delhi, he issued a farman dismissing Bairam Khan from his office. Okay, so this is what is told here in this book. In that a movie, what it's showing, like directly in a battleground, some other battleground, he's telling to him, okay, you can retire and now go to Mecca. Okay, that is what is shown in the movie. Okay, the hero will be Hrithik Roshan. He will be telling Akbar character, he will be telling to this Bairam Khan character this thing. Okay, you can retire now. You have done enough service for this thing. You can retire and go back to Mecca. Okay, so friction is being shown. Okay, so here, here if you see, it's like I think they'll be given, yeah, here. The rebellion distracted the empire for almost 6 months. So this thing, when Akbar told like you have to step back, he was ready actually. Okay, but his you know, like people will be there around. Okay, like the nobility and people, they simply what to say, kept on provoking him, Bairam Khan, against Akbar, and then there was a small friction. Around 6 months it continued. Finally, Bairam Khan was forced to submit Akbar. Forced to submit to Akbar. Okay, Akbar received forced to submit. Okay, there's a full stop here. Now Akbar received him cordially and gave him the option of serving at the court or anywhere outside it or retiring to Mecca. So this is what is written here, but in the movie directly is telling like you can go to Mecca. Okay, I mean your services are not required, you can go to Mecca. So this is what happened. Okay, but here again one thing, Bairam Khan chose to go to Mecca. However, on the way he was assassinated at Patan near Ahmedabad by an Afghan who bore him a personal grudge. So some personal reasons he was killed by some other person. Okay, so that's how his story will end. And here again, Bairam Khan's wife and a young son was actually brought to Akbar, and Akbar will marry that widow. Okay, but these things are not shown in the movie because that movie is in the context of Jodha Akbar love story. So they are not showing any other wife or any other such personal things of Akbar is not shown in the movie. Okay, so don't confuse movie scripts with the actual history. Okay, so here Bairam Khan's widow, who was his cousin, brought up the child as his own son. Okay, so whatever, these are personal things we don't need, and the son's name is this thing, Abdur Rahim Khani Khanan. Khani Khanan is the father's title, and held some of the most important offices and commands. So his family was treated well in the empire. That is the whole gist. Now Akbar's confrontation with Bairam Khan and the treatment accorded to his family subsequently shows some typical traits of Akbar's character. Okay, he was underlyingly, once he had made up his mind about a course of action, but he was prepared to go out of his way in being generous to an opponent who had submitted to him. So he decided like Bairam Khan has to be expelled, so that was done, but he did not do that such things to his family. Okay, Bairam Khan's family, he treated them generously. So that is about Akbar's character traits they are telling. Okay, now during Bairam Khan's rebellion, groups and individuals in the nobility had become politically active. Okay, this included Akbar's foster mother, Mahamanga or something. In the movie it is telling Mahamanga. Okay, so that is the foster mother. In the movie you can watch it. And her relations. Okay, because you know, like he was not born in Agra, right? So that time one mother was there who actually took care of him, who brought him up. Okay, so that lady is this Mahamanga. And though Mahamanga soon withdrew from politics, her son Adam Khan was an impetuous young man. Okay, so this is also shown in the movie. Adam Khan, one character is there who is like not very good in this whatever, like kingship or whatever. He was always doing some mischiefs or something which is not suited for a royal person. Okay, so that is why he had a few conflicts with Akbar also. And because this Mahamanga is like foster mother, she used to recommend him like please make this person, this Adam Khan, into some role or give something like some administrative power or something, but Akbar always used to reject. Okay, so this is what happened. Then he assumed independent heirs when sent to command an expedition against Malwa. Removed from the command, he laid claim to the post of the Wazir, and when this was not conceded, he stabbed the acting Wazir in his office. Okay, so this is also shown in the movie. Zadam Khan will go and, because he wanted to be Wazir, so he will go and stab the Wazir, okay, with the sword. So Akbar was enraged and had him thrown down from the parapet of the fort so that he died. Okay, 1561. This is also showed in the movie. Okay, that person is thrown from the top of the fort, so he will fall down. He does not die. This again, the soldiers will take him up one more time, and then he is thrown again. So like that till he is dead, he was thrown. Okay, so that much Akbar was enraged, and that scene is beautifully shown in the movie. Okay, so however, it was many years before Akbar was to establish his authority fully. Okay, these are all in his young age only. Okay, so the Uzbeks formed a powerful group in the nobility. They held important positions in eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Malwa. Okay, this Uzbeks. Although they had served the empire well by subduing the powerful Afghan groups in those areas, they had become arrogant and were defying the young ruler. Between 1561 and 1567, they broke out in rebellion several times, forcing Akbar to take the field against them. Each time, Akbar was induced to pardon them. So this is what happened. These kind of small rebellions were happening from the eastern side. So Akbar will control them also and then pardon them also. It's not like any strict things done. So when they again rebelled in 1565, okay, Akbar was so exasperated that he vowed to make Jaunpur his capital. So now anything will have a limit, right? So when it became 1565, by that time he decided now he will make Jaunpur his capital so that that side can be controlled. Meanwhile, a rebellion by the Mirzas, who were Timurids and were related to Akbar by marriage, threw the areas west of modern Uttar Pradesh into confusion. So again another group, okay, Mirzas is coming into picture. Encouraged by these rebellions, Akbar's half brother, okay, Mirza Hakim, who had seized control of Kabul, advanced into Punjab and besieged Lahore. Okay, so western side this Mirza group is going on. This Uzbek rebels formally proclaimed him their ruler. So now they both will come together, this Uzbek and Mirzas. This was the most serious crisis Akbar had to face since Hemu's capture of Delhi. Okay, you remember Hemu capture we discussed in the beginning of this chapter. So after this, any serious crisis was there, it was this thing, okay, this Mirzas plus Uzbek. However, Akbar's grit and a great amount of luck enabled him to triumph. From Jaunpur, he marched to Lahore. Okay, if you see east to west, okay, full distance, forcing Mirza Hakim to retire. Meanwhile, the rebellion of the Mirzas was crushed, the Mirzas fleeing to Malwa and thence to Gujarat. Akbar marched back from Lahore to Jaunpur, crossing the river Yamuna near Allahabad at the height of rainy season. He surprised the rebels led by the Uzbek nobles and completely routed them. So don't read this like traveling from here to there and all. I'm just reading it because just to show you. Okay, finally what happens is he will take control of both these people. Okay, Mirzas and Uzbeks both. Uzbek leaders were killed in the battle, thus bringing their protracted rebellion to an end. All the rebellious nobles, including those among them who had been dreaming of independence, were cowed down. Okay, so anybody who wanted to carve out independent kingdoms or who wanted to throw out Akbar, anything, okay, everything was done away with, and Akbar was now free to concentrate on the expansion of the empire. Okay, so now up to 67 we saw. Okay, now after 67 up to 76, one more thing is there that after this we'll stop this chapter. Okay, this video. Then after that it will continue to go on till his death or something. So we'll see step by step only. So during Bairam Khan's regency, the territories of the Mughal Empire had been expanded. Okay, during Bairam Khan's regency, the territory of Mughal Empire had been expanded. So telling about the previous thing. Then apart from Ajmer, the most important conquest during this period had been of Malwa and Garkatanga. Malwa was being ruled at the time by a young prince. Okay, Baz Bahadur. So one more new character. Okay, in the Malwa region. His accomplishments included a mastery of music and poetry. Okay, stories about the romance of Baz Bahadur and Roopmati, who was famous for her beauty as well as for music and poetry, were well known. So again, this kind of things usually we used to ignore. Okay, whenever we read history textbooks, but UPSC have started asking these kind of things also. 2016 or 17, I don't remember. They asked a question about some love story about some king and someone, and a book actually. Okay, which book is based on the love story between two people. Okay, so when you read these things, you have to at least keep in mind okay, I read this at least in the medieval portion. Don't confuse okay, this was in ancient history or this was in the time of Guptas or something. At least you should know this Baz Bahadur Roopmati thing is happening in the medieval time during the Akbar's time. Okay, that is how you reduce your knowledge to a proper limit. Okay, or if you holistically simply memorize this, you will forget which part of the timeline you learned it. Okay, so Baz Bahadur and Roopmati, something in Malwa region is going on, famous for music and poetry. During his time, Mandu had become a celebrated center for music. Okay, this place in last video also we saw. The army, however, had been neglected by Baz Bahadur. The expedition against Malwa was led by Adam Khan. Okay, that foster mother's son. Okay, Adam Khan, son of, okay, here it's mentioned Mahamanga. Baz Bahadur was badly defeated 1561, and the Mughals took valuable spoils including Roopmati. Okay, so he was defeated, and his this person Roopmati also was taken, and valuables also was taken. However, she preferred to commit suicide to being dragged to Adam Khan's harem. Due to this senseless cruelties of Adam Khan and his successor, there was a reaction between the Mughals against the Mughals, which enabled Baz Bahadur to recover Malwa. Okay, so this Adam Khan's policies is not suiting to Akbar's policy, right? So that is why they had their internal conflict, and meanwhile this Baz Bahadur was able to recover the place. Okay, whichever was lost was got back. Okay, after dealing with Bairam Khan's rebellion, Akbar sent another expedition to Malwa. Baz Bahadur had to flee, and for some time he took shelter under the Rana of Mewar. After wandering about from one area to another, he finally repaired to Akbar's court and was enrolled as a Mughal Mansabdar. Okay, so this person who was running around because of fear of Akbar, he finally will come back, okay, and will join Akbar's court. And you know, there is a concept called Mansabdar. Mansabdar is actually a kind of a rank, okay, like a Mansabdar of 500 rank, of 2000 rank, 3000 rank. So higher the rank, higher number it will be allotted, okay. So that place he joined. The extensive country of Malwa thus came under Mughal rule. Okay, so that's how Malwa story ends. Okay, Baz Bahadur story. At about the same time, Mughal arms overran the kingdom of Garkatanga. The kingdom of Garkatanga included the Narmada Valley and the northern provinces of present Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so now after Gujarat, we are seeing the Madhya Pradesh area. It had been welded together by one Aman Das. Okay, so now Baz Bahadur is in Malwa, Aman Das is in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, who flourished in the second half of 15th century. Aman Das had helped Bahadur Shah of Gujarat in the conquest of Raisen and had received from him the title of Sangram Shah. Okay, so this now its full story is about Aman Das. Okay, Aman Das is in this place and he's helping Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah of Gujarat we saw while Humayun had problems with him. Okay, so this Aman Das got the title of Sangram Shah. Okay, try to remember. I know it's difficult to remember each and every title and all, but if you just make notes and if you solve similar MCQs, because in our MCQ these things will be again covered. So that's what you need to do. Listen to lectures which are free, then enroll to that paid test series which are like the best in the country, I can tell. Okay, we have covered everything which is there in standard textbook. So once you do that, it will be like you will never forget these things. Okay, because everyone will not by heart this, so you have to be one step ahead of them, and that is what we are trying here. Vysh IAS students should be always one step ahead of the other students who are following the regular channels or the normal daily materials, okay, daily coaching materials. But we are giving you everything which is extensive, so try to memorize. Here actually on top near Mansabdar you can see here number 1 is given. So here this is actually explanation to that. He rose to the rank of 2000. I told you the rank will be like with different numbers. Okay, 2000. So according to tradition, he was buried near a tank at Ujjain where his favorite consort Roopmati was also buried. So this is what Akbar will do. Like he will make sure that he is not hurting any opponents or something. Okay, whoever comes to his refuge will be taken care. So just telling about his story, how it ended. Okay, so this Amanda's story about Narmada Valley was going on, and we read till title of Sangram Shah. Okay, now kingdom of Garkatanga included a number of Gond and Rajput principalities. It was the most powerful kingdom set up by the Gonds. It is said that the ruler commanded 20,000 cavalry, large infantry and 1,000 elephants. We do not know, however, to what extent these figures are dependable. Sangram Shah had further strengthened his position by marrying off his son to a princess of the famous Chandela ruler. So again, this internal marriage alliance, something is there, and these people are expanding their cavalry and kingdom and all. Okay, so here again one new princess name is Durgavati. Okay, there we had that Roopmati thing. This is now Durgavati. Okay, so became a widow soon afterwards, but she installed her minor son on the throne and ruled the country with great vigor and courage. She was a good marksman, both with guns and bow and arrow. She was fond of hunting. And according to a contemporary, it was her custom that whenever she heard that a tiger had appeared, she did not drink water till she had shot it. So there are all exaggerations of stories which they are telling, like she was good in this hunting, bow and arrow, all these things, and so if she spotted a tiger, she will not do anything else before she kills that tiger. Okay, so that kind of thing. So she fought many successful battles against her neighbors, including Baz Bahadur of Malwa. These border conflicts apparently continued even after Malwa had been conquered by the Mughals. Okay, so even after Mughals capturing Malwa, these people had internal conflicts also. Malwa versus this Madhya Pradesh region, okay, Narmada Valley region. Now, meanwhile, the cupidity of Asaf Khan, the Mughal governor of Allahabad, so a new character now, okay, governor of Allahabad, was roused by the stories of the fabulous wealth and the beauty of the Rani. Asaf Khan advanced with 10,000 cavalry from the state of Bundelkhand. Some of the semi-independent rulers of Gara found it a convenient moment to throw off the Gond yoke. The Rani was thus left with a small force. So this is all again, I don't think it's very important, because these people, governors going behind queen and then getting wealth and all these things are happening all the time. It will happen. Okay, I don't know why it's like mentioned in this much detail. So again something happens, and I think she stabbed herself to death. Okay, she will die. Asaf Khan then stormed the capital. Okay, some Chauragar, some near modern Jabalpur. So much plunder in jewels, gold, silver and other things were taken. Impossible to compute, says Abul Fazl. Abul Fazl you will see later, the Navratnas of Akbar, one of the person. Okay, that's also one good thing in that movie. In that movie, the Navratnas will be shown. Okay, the 9 people, you should know about them, because UPSC have asked about them in the past. Okay, Birbal, Tansen, Abul Fazl, many people who wrote his books and all. Okay, artists or many things, many people were there. 9 people were there. So out of all the plunder, Asaf Khan sent only 200 elephants to the court and retained all the rest for himself. Kamala Devi, the younger sister of the Rani, was sent to the court. So again, see, this is like family politics kind of thing. Just understand the story, that's all. Okay. When Akbar had dealt with the rebellion of the Uzbek nobles, he forced Asaf Khan to disgorge his illegal gains. He restored the kingdom of Garkatanga to Chandra Shah, the youngest son of Sangram Shah. Sangram Shah, you know, that Amandas or someone. Okay. After taking 10 forts to round off the kingdom of Malwa. Again, Akbar, it's like the fools. They will tell some story, and finally they will tell they did some atrocities, and finally Akbar will make it all correct. Okay, that is what Satish Chandra is trying to do in these last two incidents which we are learning. Both like the justice same. Okay, so during the next 10 years, Akbar brought the major part of Rajasthan under his control and also conquered Gujarat and Bengal. A major step in the campaign against the Rajput states was the siege of Chittor. The redoubtable fortress, which had faced a number of sieges in the history, was considered a key to central Rajasthan. You know, this Chittor fort is there in the Alauddin Khilji story also. Okay, so that's what they are telling. It's like in history also, it's mentioned number of times for different attacks. Now it commanded the shortest route from Agra to Gujarat, but above all, it was a symbol of the Rajput spirit of resistance. Akbar realized that without conquering Chittor, he could not induce the other Rajput rulers to accept his suzerainty. Then Chittor fell 1568. Okay, now up to 1567 we had seen some story. Now 1568 Chittor also is got after a gallant siege of 6 months. At the advice of the nobles, Rana Uday Singh had retired to the hills, leaving the famous warriors Jaimal and Pata in charge of the fort. Many peasants from the surrounding area had also taken shelter within the fort and actively aided the defenders. When the Mughals stormed the fort, these peasants and many of the Rajput warriors were massacred. The first and the last time Akbar indulged in such a carriage. Okay, so it's like this thing, peasants were all killed because of this thing. But so it's telling me Akbar first and last time he did such an atrocious thing. Okay, attacking these common people because he needed Chittor. The Rajput warriors died after extracting as much vengeance as possible. In honor of the gallant Jamal and Pata, Akbar ordered that 2 stone statues of these warriors seated on elephants be erected outside the chief gate of the fort of Agra. Okay, I don't know whether such thing exists now, so whoever has visited this place can maybe can tell it. Okay, like such where the statues are there. The fall of Chittor was followed by the conquest of Ranthambore, reputed to be the most powerful fortress in Rajasthan. Jodhpur had been conquered earlier. As a result of these victories, most of the Rajput Rajas, including those of Bikaner and Jaisalmer, submitted to Akbar. Only Mewar continued to resist. So almost all the Rajput kingdoms, the Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, whatever is there, it's like one by one coming under Akbar's thing, Akbar's rule, and only this Mewar was there who continued to resist. Okay. Now Gujarat had been in a sorry state of affairs since the death of Bahadur Shah. We learnt about in detail about Bahadur Shah and his fight with Humayun and all. So now after that, it's like in a sorry state, means it's like not in good condition. Okay, the fertility of its soil, its highly developed craft, and its importance as a center of import-export trade with the outside world had made it a prize worth fighting for. Okay, so these are the good characteristics. Okay, even now Gujarat has these kind of things. Okay, this craft work, import-export, trade route, the dockyard, the port, everything. Okay, right from Indus Valley civilization time, we know the area around Gujarat is famous for these things. So that is why Akbar decided to fight for that also. So Akbar also laid claim to it because Humayun had ruled over it for some time. An additional reason was that the Mirzas who had failed in their rebellion near Delhi had taken shelter in Gujarat. Okay, Akbar was not prepared for such a rich province to become a rival center of power. In 1572, Akbar advanced on Ahmedabad via Ajmer. Ahmedabad surrendered without a fight. Akbar then turned his attention to the Mirzas who held Baroj, Baroda, Surat. At Camp Bay, Akbar saw the sea for the first time and rode on it in a boat. So just to create a visual impact, maybe he's writing all these things. Okay, so saw the sea for the first time and going in a boat and all these things. A group of Portuguese merchants also came and met him for the first time. The Portuguese dominated the Indian seas by this time and had the ambition of establishing an empire in India. Akbar's conquest of Gujarat frustrated these designs. Okay, so they are now telling about the Akbar versus foreigners thing. Okay, he went to Gujarat not seeing the foreigners or something. He went there because he did not want to lose out a rich province. Okay, but by that time, you know, the time 1570s. Okay, this like Britishers have not come, so Portuguese are the strongest people that time. So Portuguese had taken control of the sea and also, but Akbar's thing, this conquest did not appease them. Okay, they were frustrated by these things. Now, while Akbar's army were besieging Surat, Akbar crossed the river Mahi and assaulted the Mirzas with a small body of 200 men, which included Man Singh and Bhagwan Das of Amber. For some time, Akbar's life was in danger, but the impetuosity of his charge routed the Mirzas. So now, this final Mirzas, whoever left, no, that also is going to be controlled. Thus, Gujarat came under Mughal control. However, as soon as Akbar had turned his back, rebellions broke out all over Gujarat. Hearing the news, Akbar marched out of Agra and traversed across Rajasthan in 9 days by modes of camels, horses, and carts. On the 11th day, he reached Ahmedabad. In this journey, which normally took 6 weeks, only 3,000 soldiers were able to keep up with Akbar. So again telling like controlled, he went away, but again some rebellions happened, he is coming back with some force. Okay. After this, Akbar turned his attention to Bengal. The Afghans had continued to dominate Bengal and Bihar. Okay. They had also overrun Orissa and killed its ruler. However, in order not to give offence to the Mughals, the Afghan ruler had not formally declared himself king, but read the Khuba in Akbar's name. Okay. Khuba or Kutba or what, I don't know. So internal fights among the Afghans and the declaration of independence by a new ruler, Daud Khan, gave Akbar the opportunity he was seeking. So again, whatever is happening in the Bengal, Bihar, Orissa region, they are telling. Okay. So Akbar advanced with a strong flotilla of boats accompanying him. The Afghan king was believed to possess a large army consisting of 40,000 well-mounted cavalry and infantry of about 1,50,000. Several, I don't know why this is too much being stressed. Okay, so like that, Akbar had not been as careful as the Afghans, but a better leader. The contest between Humayun and Sher Shah might well have been repeated. Okay, so this Humayun versus Sher Shah, that is Agra versus the eastern side, same way now Akbar versus Afghans is going on. Akbar first captured Patna, thus securing Mughal communications in Bihar. He then returned to Agra, leaving Khani Khanan Munaim Khan, an experienced officer in charge of the campaign. Okay, the Mughal armies invaded Bengal, and after hard campaigning, Daud was forced to sue for peace. He rose in rebellion soon afterwards. Though in Mughal position in Bengal and Bihar was still weak, the Mughal armies were better organized and led. In a stiff battle in Bihar in 1576, Daud Khan was defeated and executed on the spot. Thus ended the last Afghan kingdom in northern India. It also brought to an end the first phase of Akbar's expansion of the empire. Okay, so like this, in a proper ending, we will stop this. Okay, like this, it's like totally expansion stories, but next I think next is administration, right? So next will be important because for prelims many questions have come. This land revenue policies, his cropping pattern, that the Sala system, then Todarmal is there, this finance related personality, many things are there which is important for prelims. So that I will do in the next chapter, because if we mix this political thing with economic thing, it will be not what is easily understandable for students who are very new to history. Okay, so whatever we discuss now in GS1, I don't expect any question. Okay, but for history optional, direct question can come. Okay, the rise of Akbar or the conflict between Akbar and different these people, this Gujarat and Malwa, and we saw some other places like Madhya Pradesh, or with Bairam Khan, what was his thing, or with his foster mother, or with that son of foster mother. There are different angles in which UPSC can frame questions. Okay, they can have 5 marker, 10 marker, 12 marker, they can ask any question, but it's all in history optional. Okay, in the places name also, this Mandu, Chunar, we are seeing a lot of places. These places name also in the history optional, it's important. For GS1, you just need to know the whole story, like how it started. In case you need it, you can use it, but 90% question will not come. It will come only culture aspect will come, which we will see in the next few chapters. Okay, Akbar's cultural aspect, Akbar's coinage or whatever, that and all will come in the next part. So here I think some MCQs might be there. One second. Okay, one question we'll see. What all are true regarding Akbar? Akbar's territory included Kashmir and Kandahar. Akbar entered into marriage alliance with the Rajputs. Akbar had captured forts at Ranthambore and Chittor. Akbar was tolerant towards all religions. So this is like very basic question. I think I picked it up because we are just starting with Akbar. That's why it's like very basic statement. So I think 2 or 3 statements you will directly understand it is true. Okay, and here in options also, if you see the statement number 2 is there and everything. Okay, so that is true anyway. Marriage alliance with Rajput, you know, like Jodha Akbar movie itself, you would have seen. So other things, try whether everything is correct or any mistake is there. Okay, so this is about this first chapter, beginning of Akbar. Try to watch it one more time if you want it, and make notes. Okay, history optional students especially make notes, and all these things in detail, prelims perspective and mains perspective in our test series, it is covered extensively. So try to enroll that also. You can drop an email to this particular email ID. Okay, for that. So I'll come with the next video soon, give you a feedback so that I know whether I have to continue this or not, or it's like a waste of time. Okay, if students don't want it, then I can do something else. So give your feedback. Thank you and have a nice day.